audio's not working yet. You gotta click your mic. There should be like a little mic audio. Yeah, I can't hear you. You still got. There you go.
There
There it
we
is.
go.
There it is. You on a
I'm
laptop or your phone?
46 years old. Maybe one day I'll learn this computer shit.
That's all right, man. So,
I got some giant glare. Hold on a second.
yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you just got to get it to go right behind your big head.
I know. Well, that's the problem. My head is bouncing off my fucking head, man. The light refracts. All right, that's good.
That's
We're gonna
fine.
get.
Yeah, that's good.
Motivation and you've got no self-esteem. There's a hole inside your head with no vision to be seen. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Every day wake up with the same boring routine. You're content with the wall and the same old boring scene. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, 𝗵𝙗, guys, how you doing tonight?
Not too
good.
bad.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm sober because you guys decided to do this at 9 o'clock at night on St. Patrick's Day, and I'm a professional, so I'm gonna wait till right now to start drinking. Actually,
there you go, man.
That's what I'm doing too. I don't do this amateur night shit.
No,
you know? No.
When I think of you, I think pure pro.
Yeah, yeah. I do my drinking at home or when I'm working.
You do your real drinking at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekday, like real.
Yeah, like a real man. But
hey, what's up, Nick? I'm John.
Yeah, what is this? You guys like have a topic and we do witty banter about like a topic, or is this like an interview thing, or what are we doing here?
Well, I mean, we can do a little of both. We were just going to make like an interview with you, talk about your history in the Cleveland/Parma punk scene and all that kind of shit.
Okay, yep. Yeah. Cool, because I didn't prepare anything really, so that's good.
No, that's fine. Well, I know you well enough that I didn't really have to prepare. So
right.
I don't know if I sent John some links to music and videos and stuff, but yeah, we usually just fly off the cuff, and
sounds good to me.
Try to be entertaining and witty, But yeah,
you might have to try, my friend. Some of us it comes easy, okay?
Yeah. So this is. Well, John, you go ahead. This is your show more than mine. Go
ahead. I'm Jonathan Kent, and you're
Sam Sinister,
and this is just a phase. Yeah, this is just a phase. Now introduce your guest, fucker.
All right, so we got Nick Wolff here, the Prince of Parma, various other titles, the King of Evil. Yeah, he is a Cleveland and Parma punk rock scene stalwart and other kinds of warts, and yeah, we're gonna shoot the shit and have some fun, and hopefully if you never heard of Nick, then you do now, and you should know him.
Yeah,
I've been yelling about myself for 25 years. I'd hope that some people do, but it doesn't seem to work. Jon and Sam, thank you very much for having me.
No problem, sir.
You're welcome, my man. Thank you for coming on.
Well, we have like an international viewership, so you're going to be out there in like the interwebs, talking to people that don't know anything about Parma.
Well, that's good. I for their sake, we might want to keep it that way, but I'm going to ruin everybody. It's like Freddy Krueger. It's like an idea. And once it spreads, it just sheds terror to every community it goes to. Knowledge of the horrible town of Parma, Ohio, and that they too, if they make all the mistakes in life, could end up there like certain people.
So, Nick, you before. So your current band is Gemini Lounge, and before that, you guys it was all the same members, right? But you were called the Rubber Rippers. Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird evolution. So originally, there was a separate band called Remy Remington and the Rubber Rippers. Get that one off quickly. That really just sticks in the air. And two of the guys in the band, Chris the drummer and 𝗵𝘳 the bass player, were guys that I'd known for a long time. I'd been in a band Eviction Party with them, and then before that, they were in a band called Pipe Bomb from Akron, Ohio, which my friend band, the Nick Wolff band, was very good friends with. So I had a relationship with them. And I originally was joining Remy Remington and the Rubber Rippers to, I was just going to be their manager, like a wrestling manager, just cut promos and kind of do some backup vocals. We did one show. And, what's up?
You were going to be like the hype man.
The hype man, exactly. And I liked, because I didn't want to do anything. Like I hadn't really done music seriously in a while, and I just wanted to be up on stage and talk shit. I really didn't want to do any work. And then we did one show like this, and I'm not going to rag on the Remy Remington part of the band too much, but it was another guy's band. It was all his idea, and he really didn't want to let the other two guys, Chris and 𝗵𝘳, have much of a say in the band. And they were tired of it, and they kind of wanted to lean on me to sing a lot more. And we got in a situation where it's like, if I'm going to sing, I'm not putting up with you. And he would be gone, so we would keep the name the Rubber Rippers, because Chris came up with that name. And so we had shows on the books already, though, and they were already advertising it as the Rubber Rippers. So we kept that name for those shows. But pretty much immediately, I was like, all right, if I'm in the band now, it's a different band. We're not doing the same thing. And how about this? And we knew we wanted a new idea and musically a new direction, and kind of be completely different from that band. So I had the name Gemini Lounge already. It was idea for a project that I kind of was like a nebulous idea. I was like, let's do this. Finally, I got the guys. Let's fucking do this. And so the Rubber Rippers was really just like a kind of a placeholder name. Funny story though, a couple months later, Remy would actually book. We'd be looking through the Facebook, someone come up, show at Buzzbin. It was a last minute replacement show because one of the bands canceled, and it said, "Come see the Rubber Rippers, new members, same punk style." And it turned out this Remy guy was advertising himself as as us, basically, or is that like he'd thrown us out of the band or something? But he was never in the band in the first place, and my guitarist kind of had to call him and be like, or my drummer would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So we got rid of him, and we added Joe Brown, and that lineup is Gemini Lounge. And the Rubber Rippers was really a placeholder that I, quite frankly, hated and was always going to get rid of. It's just, we had two shows it was on flyers for already.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so you mentioned Eviction Party, though. Was that a lottery league band that you were in with those guys?
No, that was just a placeholder. We did it for a little while. It didn't really ever take off, but it was with Chris and 𝗵𝘳 and a couple other guys from Pipe Bomb and this guy named 𝗳𝘳, who was great. But it just was going nowhere. I didn't really want to drive to Akron, and at that time, I really didn't feel the other guys were serious, and it just was worth my kind of time, and it just wasn't meant to be. But I had a great relationship with Chris, the drummer. I always have, and that's kind of what carried through. Even after Pipe Bomb and the Nick Wolff band, him and I stayed in contact. As a promoter, he had a club for a while called the Bombshell in Kent, and he would book us. And he was just a really great friend, and our friendship kind of stuck. And at this point in my life, if I'm gonna play, I want to be with people I like have a chemistry with, and I knew him and I definitely did. So it was a natural thing to do Gemini Lounge. But yeah, we had a little while in Eviction Party, but that was the real short-lived thing too.
Yeah, I remember that name, and I couldn't remember where I knew the name from. If it was just from you, like putting out, like promotional materials and stuff. But
we did a show at the 5, and then we did then we played at Annabelle's twice and the 5 once.
Ladies and gentlemen of Lakewood, Ohio, it is my great pleasure to bring to you me. We're Eviction Party. We're from Lebanon, Tennessee. My name is Avon Barksdale. And I'm going to break down to you the quick rules of play, because we don't like nonsense. We don't like foolishness. We are a serious rock and roll band, and we're about a couple days away from getting signed. So don't blow it for us.
So that was it. That was the extent of that band.
How long ago was that?
Let me think. I think 2010, 2009, 2010.
Okay, yeah. So that was like right when I moved to Cleveland.
Right,
And,
right. That's yeah.
Because I think prior to moving to Cleveland, like I hadn't even met you yet, like in person. Like we had talked on like MySpace, and like both of our bands had played with Pipe Bomb and I think like probably First Offense and like a lot of those Akron bands, done shows with them or whatever. But
yeah, I know you did. We never crossed paths. I don't know how the hell I never had you out there the Jigsaw. Like I
didn't get to go to Jigsaw. I didn't get to go to Jigsaw. That was gone by the time.
How come I never booked you? I don't know why we never put that together.
I don't know. We never actually. So when I was in Dead City Dealers, like I was talking to you a lot about trying to get shows together, and I don't know what happened, but like we ended up only playing. We played a dumbass Peabody's show, and I know like me and you have similar feelings about Peabody's. Like a lot of people around here have like these rose-colored glasses and stuff when it comes to Peabody's, but yeah, our only experience was very bad. And then I think we played one Now That's Class show with a few bands, and that was it. Those were the only. And we played Quiet Bob's in like Brook Park or Brooklyn or what. It was on it was on West 130th, like right past the like just north of Brook Park Road. There's this little place called Quiet Bob's. It was like a punch palace.
Hey, Sam, was that Peabody's?
Huh? What, John?
Hey, was that Peabody's show with Black Casket?
No, it was one of those shows where they have like a touring band who's bigger than, like I think it was like it was either the Murder Dolls or Wednesday 13. And we ended up being
No Names, like when you played No Names in Sharon.
No, it was like one of those shows where they make all the local openers sell tickets, and there's like 80 bands on it.
Yeah, right. They bring in one band, they pay them good money, but they put 80 bands, and you got to sell tickets to supplement that. Even though that lead band probably have that great of a draw, but all these bands are willing to because it's like, oh, we know their name. Yeah, we get to say we play with them.
Yeah, we got to say we played with them.
It's not putting. You have the shitty bands selling most tickets because their kids are playing right before the opener. So you go to the show, any band that was good already played 2 hours before you got there. You're paying good money to see a bunch of shitty fucking amateurs win up, and you're seeing an opener that you've probably seen many times before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a brilliant business model. It's a good way to make sure that your guarantee's met for whatever, touring band. You just get like a bunch of high school kids to sell the tickets for you.
Gary Cole, beautiful she ride, so she's from Thailand too. So they don't come cheap. That's I'm slandering. I don't know that that's true. I'm just assuming.
Do you need me to edit that out later?
No, I don't care. I have no problem with that. I said it was slander, so it's not actually slander now.
Yeah, it's not slander now because you said it was slander.
No, I did a whole video like slandering him years ago, and he's fine. He's just me talking shit about him.
Okay.
So that's not slander. He probably loves her. If he loves her, who gives a shit where her genitals are like, Sam, you hateful bastard?
What?
I'm the one that said slander, not even you. I'm setting you up.
I know.
I love to see Sam get uncomfortable.
All right?
I'm not uncomfortable.
Be on your toes. John, see, this is I can handle him. Watch, I'm gonna run him ragged here tonight. You just
there you go. Please do.
It's gonna end up being a 15-minute episode.
No, like, we gotta go here.
So anyway,
can I ask a question?
Yeah, you go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I mean, Sam. I mean, you've talked to Sam for a number of years, and this is the first time me and you are talking. But we're all relatively similar in age. And I just wanted to ask, like, how did you, get into punk rock? What was like your first experiences in the scene? And what was like your first foray in playing in bands and stuff?
Okay, well, I'd being in Cleveland and being like Parma on a bus line to Cleveland, ever since I could like say I was sleeping over a friend's house and then get on a bus, we had access to going down to the flats and stuff like that. But for me, like, so I went to shows pretty early. I was like 16 and stuff like that. But when I was 17 or 18, I befriended this band called the Subtones, which is Aaron from my band, the Nick Wolff band. And then this guy, CJ Gunn, who is like kind of the leader of the band. They were like, they've been around for a while. I'd seen them as a kid. And I befriended Aaron. And then one day, I remember I was over a friend's house, and my good friend Dave was like, "Hey man, Aaron and Holly," which Holly was a girl that knew all of them that we were friends with. Like a couple of friends from New York City just came back into town, and they look really weird, man. They're dressed really weird. Don't make fun of them. Be fucking nice. And fucking, we open the door, and it's these two guys with full rockabilly, looking like the Stray Cats and shit. Fucking, but I'm like, oh, see, it's something I knew. I reckon I knew it was CJ from the Subtones. And once he came back in town, they were doing some gigs with Marky Ramone, and I remember they had some friends, and some of my friends like actually helped them with the gear and stuff like that, and they didn't do it. They did a shitty job. And so like the next time it was like, oh, you could come out and help us. And yeah, I think I was like 19, and I did a fantasy show. And I remember one of the first shows I ever played, Tony Erba has a famous bass rig, and it's gigantic. And it's Bob now owns the bass player from the Nick Wolff band. And but this thing's a legendary piece of equipment. And one of my first shows, I had to lug this giant amp up the Peabody Fantasy backstairs, which if anyone knows, they're very rickety. There's a couple stories, and that's how I kind of got my due, is starting off as a roadie, to be honest, for the Subtones. And I remember when I'm not going to say his name, but a guy known, may have been in some pretty big bands in this city at a different time, was working door at the time. He was like, here, guys, wristband time. And I put my hand out there with the band, and he looked at me. I looked at him, he smiled, he put the wristband on my arm, and I was like, I love this. This is, all right, I'm going to do this from now on. And I did shit with the Subtones for a long time, and just kind of got into my head, like, I want to be in a band. I want to be in a band. I started nagging my buddy Doder and Mikey, like, because they both had like a guitar and a bass, but shitty little ones, a little combo amp. But like, that's all I needed. And eventually, I had a house, like a party house, and we bought a drum kit, and that's kind of where it fucking started, man. And then from there, I ended up in a rap rock group. There was Pride, Ohio, was Doder and Mikey. We were doing that, but somehow my other buddy said he wanted to start a band. He started a rap rock group, and actually my first real band that I played on stage was a rap rock group called Slutbox. And
nice.
Yeah, it was real bad. It was like I said, 1999, 2000. So it was as bad as when I was like the punk rock guy that like I didn't like rap, but I did like the kind of like the choruses and shit like that, and kind of like a Tim Armstrong kind of. That's really
now
bad.
During that time, have you ever heard of a band by the name of Three Whites and an Eskimo from Newcastle?
No, I haven't heard anything from Newcastle. Sam Sinister is the first thing I ever heard from Newcastle.
Yeah, me too.
Be a while there. I wasn't too it would be a little while before it would become a little bit more regional based, but I was definitely more kind of because it is here. Like, there are so many clubs, and there's always band, and there's so many bands, and there used to be a phone number, 749 Mosh, and it was called the Mosh line. And literally, it was a recorded message, and you update it every couple days. And it would be like a 20-minute message where you break down every show that was going on in the city. So you would know where to go and what was going on. Even better than the internet does. Like this Mosh line, and it went on for years. It's a legendary thing around here. So it made it really easy. So like, there was always so much to keep track of in Cleveland that it really doesn't become until you're in a band and you start playing outside of Cleveland that you kind of really start paying attention and getting to, know stuff. Because like I said, it's just, there's so many bands in Cleveland that I don't know,
Yeah, I was just wondering because they were kind of under that rap rock kind of a thing, like like that kind of stuff, like Mushroom Head and that kind of stuff that was coming out around the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly the same vibe. I know. In fact, our drummer for that band is actually has been the bat in Mushroom Head for the last 10 years or whatever.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So my guys were, and Slutbox actually went on to like, they became like an industrial metal band, a lot like Mushroom Head. And like, they played with them a lot in the band. They turned into a band called 𝗀𝗄𝗯, which some of those members are actually in Mushroom Head. So they developed ties with them. And that's where I diverged. And yeah, I just did it because the guy Dave Slutbox was just always gung-ho, and him and I kind of were like, let's do music together. And I actually, because of my connection to the Revolution, which was a club and a studio next door called Dream State Studios, owned by Billy Morris, and I'd always smoke pot with the engineer, and I was real good friends with Aaron, was one of the owners, and Billy I worked for and shit. So I was able to get some studio time. Pride, Ohio wasn't ready yet, but Dave, he was like a silver tongue. He could talk you into anything. So like they gave us like hours and hours of free studio time. And we were just able to write these songs like in the studio with like an engineer there, like, you know, doing our beats and shit like that. And so it was just easy. But as soon as that was over, it was like, okay, like I was still doing Pride of Ohio. That was always the plan. And the guys in Slutbox didn't want me in it long term anyways, because that was their thing and my thing. So we parted ways, and that's when I started my first band, Pride of Ohio, with my buddy Doter.
Friday night, smelling it up, drinking with my friends. Someone up a long time ago, now I'm fucking again. Got the fever, got the chills, lying too many fucking bands. Lying face down on the ground, blowing thing up this way. Tripping and puking as I'm walking in the club. Now I'm too fucked up. Up on the stage and I fall right off. Now I'm too fucked up. Every single day, something comes along, makes me wanna say. Roll a joint, kinda like sobriety's always the time. Responsibility when I got my bottle numbers. Little busters in this club, the bunch of stupid fucks. Throw up on the small one, kick the big one in the nuts. Tripping and puking as I'm walking in the club. Now I'm too fucked up. Up on the stage and I fall right up. Now I'm too fucked up. Every single day, something comes along, makes me wanna stay. Rolling goodies all in this club, I know they're digging me. Really like to get a piece of ass, but it hurts when I pay. Can't keep going on this way, I don't think I got that no more. I'm over and say a red bell strand, she's such a fucking whore. Tripping and puking as I'm walking in the club. Now I'm too fucked up. Up on the stage and I fall right up. Now I'm too fucked up. Every single day, something comes along, makes me wanna stay. Fucked up. Love I wanna do. Fuck, get fucked up. Love you and you.
And CJ from the Subtones, actually, he saw I was trying, and he's like, I'll come down and play with you. And at the same time, my weed dealer was a really great metal guy named Dave Ryan. He was like a child prodigy. He was in the band Prune when he was 13. And but drugs had kind of hit him. And so but he saw that I cared. He's like, well, I'll come down and jam with you too. So that's how Pride of Ohio started out. Just like these guys that were like good musicians and established, like kind of, like risked it with me and gave me a little bit of their time. And I never took that for granted, and I went rolling with it, from that point on.
Now, was Bob in Pride of Ohio too, or that wasn't until Nick Wolff band?
Yeah, no, Bob was in a band called Face First at that time, along with Mark from the Nick Wolff band, the drummer, our second drummer in the Nick Wolff band. He was also in Green Light Go with Bill Cyprian and Dan Fry or John Brassie and Bill Cyprian.
See, I didn't know that.
You
I
know
remember
Cyp, right?
Green Light Go. I remember Green Light Go.
Bill Cyprian's the one from the Vacancies.
Exactly.
And Skitter and all that. So okay.
Oh, that's
wait,
the same. That's the same guy.
So
okay.
So holy shit. I have a Kevin Bacon connection with fucking Joan Jett then, because
yeah, well, we all do. Yes. Yeah. He's connected. Actually, you know, that's his band, his original band, 𝗀𝘅𝑚𝘙, Bill Cyprian I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That was one of the first punk rock show I ever went to, was actually 𝗀𝘅𝑚𝘙 at where was it called? The Red Eye Rock Club on Route 82 in North Royalton.
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, Bill Cyprian was in the the biggest band he was in probably was the Vacancies, and they were on Joan Jett's label in the 2000s, Blackheart Records. So apparently my bass player Bob, who was also in Nick Wolff band, was in a band with Bill Cyprian. And apparently, also, CJ Gunn was like a tech for Joan, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what CJ was, and CJ. When I met him, he just moved back from New York City. But when he was out there, he worked for a company called SIR, and they were a big, equipment company. He worked Saturday Night Live. He delivered equipment and actually got to see Saturday. I think Paul McCartney was even on that episode, so he got to see Paul McCartney. And Mark, he formed a close relationship with the Marky Ramone out there too.
Yeah,
so
didn't he play with Marky?
He did. Later on, they would go on tour actually, and they would tour South America with him, Aaron, this dude Dave Brooks, not from the Breakfast Club, but from from the Marky Ramone stuff. Dave Devine was also his name. And when they went on there, it actually pissed me off because they took Doder instead of me, and I never forgave CJ for it, and still don't to this day. Even though Doder's dead and it was the only good experience of his life, it could have been one more good experience for me, and I resent it.
So, okay, yeah, we're jumping all over the place.
We're jumping at it, but we'll come back. Pride, Ohio, I think, is where we're at.
Yeah, that's all right. I think we covered that, but then let's talk about where I first knew you from was the Nick Wolff band. It's originally called Nick Wolff and the homosexual something or others.
Nick Wolff and the homosexual mannerisms.
Mannerisms.
Yeah, that comes so up. By this time I had quite a relationship with my former bandmates, including my drummer Dave. And I had just started at the Jigsaw Saloon as a cook at the time, and they were converting an old bowling alley into a rock club at the time. And Larry, the owner, was working with me in the kitchen, and he went on some tangent how he will never book Primal, because Primal Ohio actually played the Jigsaw twice before there was ever a club. We were the first band to ever play the Jigsaw. We did it on the restaurant side. It's like, I will never book you guys again. Fuck you. I'm like, why? What's your fucking problem? And he's like, not with Doder, not with Doder. I'm like, well, I'll start a band without Doder. So yeah, got in my ass at that time. And at the same time, I had this thing going on where I was ranting about Dean DePiero, the mayor of Parma, because he sent a hamburger back once at the restaurant I worked at before that, Parma Tap. And so I built up this whole mayor of Parma thing. So the idea was I was just like going to be like for the band, like a talk show host / politician. And I was just going to be like the Conan O'Brien, and Dave was going to be the band leader. And that's how I was able to get Dave kind of back on gear. Like, you can be the band leader. It will be like a comedy thing, and like, but you can pick the band and shit like that and like have say, just let me do my thing and we'll keep it separate. And I'm like, you can even name the band. It's going to be Nick Wolff and the what? And Dave, because Dave's always busting my balls and always taking the piss out of me. He fucking decided to be Nick Wolff and the homosexual mannerisms. Because when I held my microphone, sometimes I'd hold it with a limp wrist. And sometimes I'd play my, even still this day, I kind of have limp wrists and I kind of do some homosexual mannerisms. So it was a total burn on me. It was just to bust my fucking balls. But I'm like, I thought it was funny. Like, let's do it. And then it morphed into the guys in the band dressing in drag. Not me. I actually wore my suit, my full Nick Wolff thing, but they were all dressed in drag. And that's how they would play. They'd wear muumuus, and Dave Parrish would wear like Speedos, and his balls would hang out while he was doing a fucking solo and shit.
That's great.
We were on a lot of drugs at that
time. But I'm going to play a clip of your current band, which is Gemini Lounge. And then we're going to talk about that a little bit. I kind of want to set this clip up, though. You're like playing in a laundromat, and I believe it's in Columbus. And then we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the band, but we're going to talk about this laundromat shit too. Yeah, so that was Nick Wolff's band, currently Gemini Lounge. And tell us about this laundromat, first of all, man. Like, how did you get a show at a laundromat?
So before I was your whore playing every show with you, Billy Somerville from the band Violet Ray, they've helped us out a lot too. And we did a show with them at Buzzbin, and then he called us back, to do his. He does this Skate Rock Saturday, which is a series of shows he does on Saturdays, and he's booked some all around the region, and he brings bands to, Columbus, Youngstown, whatever. He brings Cleveland bands into there, and they brought us and Vandalizard down to that show, and it's right off the freeway on was it High Street or wherever the big street is, and it's in a really nice, actually pretty cool area, and it's just this laundromat. And to the side, there's a bar, and there's a little area to play. And the laundromat's actually beautiful. Like, there's brand new dryers and like state of the art like laundry equipment at this place. Yeah, I don't know. It's for some, but then there's this shitty little punk club like on the side wall of it. It's funny.
It's called Dirty Dungarees.
Dirty Dungarees, and dude, that show you can't really tell. As we're playing, kids are starting to kind of come in and. Like, they're just walking in. They're kind of scared of us. But by the time we got done, that place was packed with kids. And by the time Vandalizard played right after us, and dude, they had a whole floor of like, I would say 40 to 50, 13 through 16-year-old kids going nuts dancing. And I haven't seen anything like that in fucking forever. and it was an awesome. It was actually a fucking awesome show.
It sounds great.
It was
sounds
worth.
real cool.
I had to drive back from Barberton the next morning when we got a blizzard, and I had bald tires. It was that real bad snowfall, and I almost got into 2 car accidents on the way home. But it was still worth it.
Oh man.
I'm a very verbose person, but at the same time, you're getting to know the guests, you know, and but at the same time, you know, if you guys are short, come on, I'm gonna bust your balls. Let's get it together, okay? Fucking keep me in line.
Yes, that's right. Keep it together,
Yeah,
Sam.
I'll be telling you about my fucking memories in the womb and shit if you let me, Sam.
Well, that's what I want to hear.
It was very wet and
That's what
dark.
our viewers want to see. You know, they want to hear
This
about
giant-
your birth.
Every once in a while, this giant like brown thing would come pounding on the outer edge of me. I didn't know what it was. It was throbbing.
All right, so I'm gonna bounce our
I was saying my mom had sex with large penis men while she was pregnant with me.
Yeah, I get it. You're like 𝗵𝙗𝗃𝗀𝗃.
Want to make that clear?
Were you like an abortion survivor too?
Yeah. No, I might have been more fetal alcohol syndrome. I don't know.
All right, so
Are we good? Do we gotta do the bubbles again?
No,
All
we're
right.
good. No, you're good.
Sounds good.
Just gotta wait for John. I mean, we don't have to. I mean, just kidding. John asked a question earlier, and I think because he has like so many different questions all in one shot. When and how did you get into punk?
Like just punk in general?
Yeah, just punk in general, because like we're
get you.
basically the same age, you know what I mean? And I know how I did, and other people did our age.
I'll tell you straight up, I'm not afraid to fucking admit it. 2 fucking words, man. Green fucking day.
Yeah, that's exactly.
14-year-old stoner, and I thought all the grunge music was boring and slow and depressing. I instinctively knew I wanted something goofy and fast, you know, and I wasn't quite ready for like metal or, you know, hardcore or anything like that. And just on MTV, I saw some goofy, skinny kids singing about fucking jacking off in the middle of the day. And I kind of right then, you know, I was like, we're like, you know, like, see, like, this is kind of weird. Like you know, my upbringing, I kind of had a situation in my house where, I don't know how to explain this, but I was forced to kind of where I had a stepfather, and he kind of, he was a dickhead, and I don't know, when I went to high school, he like forced me to go to Kids R Us and buy a bunch of shitty clothes, and like just honestly, so I get made fun of. It's a whole long thing, but and
I can relate.
My brother could even attest to that. But what I did was I'd rip them all up, and I had my hair up there, and I was into like, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers and like Uplift Mofo Party Plan and like things like that, like weird kind of stuff that wasn't like, you know, your grunge and shit like that. And just like finally, it was like, I see this. This is okay. I get this. And I didn't even know, like, I thought punk rock was a Halloween costume from the 80s, you know, like I didn't even understand really what punk rock was. And I heard when they said in an article, like, we're not an alternative band, we're a punk band. And I was just like, oh, I think it's like punk. Yeah, I remember hearing that. I remember hearing about that. Like, and okay, I know it was a Halloween costume. And I know there's those guys with the long hair and the leather jackets that have been around forever. Yeah. Fucking, I think they're all brothers. And like, right there, I was just like, okay, I need to know about it. I was asking someone about that. And they're like, those guys are fucking sellout posers. You want to listen to something good, check out NoFX. And I put it on Punk and Drublic. I bought Punk and Drublic and the Ramones, like a best of the Ramones. And a 7 seconds record. It sucked. It was like their new wave one. But Punk and Drublic, man, Linoleum, first time I ever fucking heard it, it blew my fucking mind because I never heard a singer sing that badly, like in that kind of voice. And I just identified with, and you had this the blistering guitar, like it was just like what the hell is I couldn't even understand what it was, and they were funny and they were fast. It was like all the things I thought were cool about Green Day, like magnified, by like a million. And I think I was just then by that time we were sneaking out to go see 𝘀𝘁𝘁 and with my buddy Fagoon and shit like that, and it just kind of snowballed. I mean, punk was obviously when we got into it, that was a revival. Like it blew up. Everybody was into punk, at that time. And at my school, my school was not like where the jocks and preppies and that whole thing ruled the school. They were 50%. The other 50% were fucking, freaks or we had a different name for them now, but hip hop kids, the early ones like that, outcasts. Half of my school was outcasts that didn't fit in. And we weren't a small section. We were many different groups that comprised a large section of that fucking school. So it was just really easy. People were starting bands. Bill Cyprian, who I went to school with, bring him up again, and Bill Chillick, they started a band called 𝘀𝘁𝘁𝘁. And I went and saw them, and opening for them was these guys, the Jerk-Offs, with Nick Peters and Mike Donovan. And I became friends with them. And all the kids in my neighborhood were like punks and shit, because I lived by the creek and under the bridge, and they'd all be hanging there. So it was so easy, really, just to get in. And it was just like all the dorks just became, whether you were a punk or a goth kid or a hip hop kid or whatever, and a lot of us smoked pot too. And it was just, that was a big fucking connecting thing. And it was real easy.
Yeah. We had like very similar experiences, except I lived in like a hick school, like we were like in the farm, like, like where farmland and trailer parks and shit like that. Like, but yeah, same thing. Green Day. And then, my dad had like a couple like modern bands that I didn't know were modern at the time that he listened to. And one of them was Nirvana, and Nevermind, so that was sort of my gateway. But then when Green Day came out and the Offspring and stuff, like I thought they were alternative rock bands. And then I come to find they're, like they were calling themselves punk, and it was like this punk revival. But yeah, it was like when someone gave me Punk and Drublic by NoFX, it was like something clicked, and I'm like, I still liked Green Day. Like I got into like the older, like the albums before they got big and all that, but yeah. like NoFX was sort of the catalyst that I'm just like, oh, there's stuff that isn't on MTV, and this is like insane sounding, and I didn't know what to make of it.
There's a whole different world of this.
Yeah,
because they're talking about band, like, oh, Bad Religion, oh, this, that, and you want to know all those bands. And then at that time, we were lucky because we had the Warped Tour. I don't know, you probably had to drive a little bit, but I mean, that coming around every city where you got all these fucking bands, and you'd hear about them, you were able to see, and some of them didn't come around to, would never come to Ohio if it weren't for the Warped Tour. And that was a big thing too before it got shitty and horrible.
Yeah, so I mean, I might not get to all these clips, but I want to at least get to some of these ones that are in portrait mode. Portrait mode's the mode,
I like it. I feel like a late night talk show. You've got like clips of like talking about it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to go for. Hey, what's up, John? John's back.
I'm back.
John, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Nick?
I'm good. Yeah. So are you still based in Newcastle?
No, I'm in right outside of Youngstown.
Okay.
Yeah, I moved over here about 2.5 years ago.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all like Ohioans now.
Yeah, you guys all, wow, there was this mass exodus from small town PA into Ohio. We're getting the best and the brightest.
Yeah, I do a lot of shows. I do a lot of shows over here in Youngstown, and I have a record label out of here.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, so I
what kind of music?
Punk rock.
Oh, punk rock. All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thanks for keeping it alive and fucking dude over in Youngstown area.
I'm trying to do my part, man.
That was the only time I ever played the Youngstown was the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which is like a classical club there.
I remember that over on Salt Springs Road.
Yep, exactly, 100%, yes.
Yep. I've been there quite a few times. So one of my favorite shows, I saw Murphy's Law play there.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking awesome. Yeah, fucking Jimmy Gestapo fucking threw a PBR pounder and hit some girl in the front row with it.
That's fucking. And well, it's that small little fucking venue like that, and shit like that's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, he did his whole shtick, but like, I felt a little bad for the girl though, because she got fucking nailed, dude. Right above her eye. Like there was like a slit right above her eye, dude. It was fucking wild.
It's always the smallest girl that gets like he accidentally is in the center of it.
The smallest girl's got the biggest brass balls in a pit, dude. They just don't give a shit, man.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, we got quite a bit of good venues down here. We got West Side Bowl.
Yeah.
Over on the west side. We still have Cedars. They don't do much over at the Royal Oaks anymore, but we have it's an old funeral home. It's called the Wickyards. It's an all ages venue. It's an old funeral home, and if you go down in the basement, like they actually do like tours and shit like that. There's all the old fucking embalming shit and tables down in the basement and shit. It's pretty fucking wild.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
well, John, I got 2 words for you when it comes to booking. Ska night, all right? Boom. Gold.
Tease all this heart music. We're actually a ska band. We're called King the Ska from Akron, New Jersey. And we play ska. Ska music. Ska all the time. We play like 9th fucking wave, 13th wave, 75th wave. That's Malaysia. It's really big there right now. It's gonna make it to Russia by the 100th wave. One day. Is there still an East Germany? No, wait, that's not a thing anymore.
Money in your pockets, my friend.
Oh, I know. I'm friends with a couple of those bands. And,
yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about the money part. Because I do them.
You gotta dig deep in the pockets for Scott Night, John, but it's worth it's a good investment.
No. The only time we make money from ska night is when we have Nick's band playing. They don't even play ska.
Well, why don't we get Nick's band, your band, and we'll get like 𝗚cie heç'', and we'll get like the book club, and we'll get what's the one band from around here? Fine Young Men.
Yeah, Fine Young Men.
Yeah, we'll get a little ska night going. We'll like see if we can set something up at like West Side Bowl or something, even if it's downstairs.
There's also that Pittsburgh band, the Ska Larks. They're playing with us next month, up here at the 5 o'clock. But yeah, there's not that many. I guess there's like some other bands around here that just only play like once every couple years. I can't even remember the name of the one that was supposed to open the show. I wish I could remember their name. And then there's
I know a couple from like Philly area. Like there's the 𝗀𝘅, I think, from DC, and then there's Amy Gabba and the Almost Famous. I think they're from like Toronto or something like that.
Yeah, but those aren't local.
No, but they come through though. We could do like a whole ska night and get somebody to be like a headliner or something.
Nick,
there's a lot of ska. I mean, I think people are getting appreciation for really something that's just it's fun music that you dance to. I mean, there was for a long time people turned their nose up to ska, but I think as we go on, and that nostalgia, and just the idea of that, I hate this. It's fucking fun. You fucking love it. Quit being so fucking cool. Dance. Fucking ska music where, when I was like 16, 17, awkward and shit like that, I got into it. I would dance and shit. And I'd be surrounded by 12, 15 fucking hot chicks dancing with me. But the only guy dancing, I never was able to convert that. But, like, that's the beauty of fucking ska. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that. A lot of musicians just now, it's like, okay, let's have fun. There's so many good like horn players and or keyboard playing, things like that. It's like you'd be dumb not to fucking kind of branch out. And like I know, like nightclub I love the fact that they are a lottery league band, and the whole idea of lottery league is to bring people from different things and have them do something. I know most of these guys never did a ska band before. Bob from Nightclub is my longtime writing partner and the bass player guitarist for the Nick Wolff band. Like he's not a ska guy, but he's a great bass player and he can play the shit and he likes playing with these guys. And it's just, I love their whole overall, you got Marky Moon, John, you got AJ, like just this mix of people that are all from different backgrounds and they're rocking 𝗺cie, they're rocking on fucking the Sky Pork fucking Chop from goddamn Pressure Drop, just give that legitimacy. Like I love seeing stuff like that, just musicians, and as we get older, you want to branch out. So you still want to play what you want to play, but it gives you a chance to branch out and kind of learn something different.
Yeah. What's funny is you said we're a lottery league band, but we're not. We're almost like an unofficial lottery league band. Like
except you're not a lottery league band at all. But
I think only three of us are part of me,
like you, Mark, and
Bob.
But you feel like a lottery league band because everyone comes from different places, and it's almost like it's not like you guys all like hung out at the same bar for years and shit. Like it's this group of different people that kind of come together now, like from different spots of the scene. And that's how I like to, Now, like that growth and all that stuff, my band has none of that. We'll never have any of that. I got no time and no room for that shit.
Well, we got some surprises for you if you come to the next show, Nick. We got some surprises.
I think you guys are doing their next show is with like Forward to Contact and Brute Squad, right? And
yeah, Brute Squad, which I guess Bob is in that band now too.
Yes, and I think it's wonderful. No, at Brute Squad, listen, Aaron from the Nick Wolff band is in Brute Squad. That's his cover band. So I love them. They're great guys. Steve, the guy I know Steve forever too, and then they're great guys. It's just Bob, man, he just don't stop. You ask him to be something, he'll do it, and then he starts whining and bitching that he's doing too much shit.
So which Steve? I like people keep saying Steve. Like I've never seen Brute Squad. So like
Steve Metcalf, their drummer. He goes back. He was in the Subtones. He was in the Healers. He's been playing ever since. I mean, I saw him before I was ever even playing music at a bowling alley in Parma, playing with the Healers at the time. He was in Pride, Ohio, actually. He was the last drummer of Pride, Ohio, and he pissed me off so bad I broke the band. But he's a great dude. He's one of the best dudes you ever fucking know. And he's been around forever in a million cover bands and stuff like that.
Yeah. So let's get back to Gemini Lounge, man. So you guys got the clip we played a little bit ago. That was your song, King of Evil. And so like I kind of want to hear, because you I think the first time I saw you play, you introduced it as like Trump is the king of evil, or maybe like you're the king of evil. And then I think the last show you said that I was the king of evil. So who's the actual king of evil? I think it's more
open to interpretation. I think there definitely is a heavy overtone of Trump. I think the lyrics and stuff like that are, I think I talk about Trump, but when I do the act, you kind of evolve it and stuff like that. And because obviously, like, I'm not sitting writing any of the shit I do. I go in with a couple ideas ahead of time, and then I just open my mouth and they kind of expand and shit. So as you're going out there every time, you kind of add a little bit more to it. And that's how my songs are too. I don't finish my lyrics really until recording. I'm always open to editing. I do a lot of ad-libbing. And I just like keeping it up. So like the live aspect, I think it's just something I kind of added on at the time. But I do like the idea, the idea is kind of, going off the Mayor of Parma thing. Now I no longer want to be that I am the king of fucking evil. I just make me the dictator. Let's not even stop with political shit. You guys don't care about that anymore. You guys are open to this bullshit. And I might add, Trump, if you look back at a lot of the shit that I promised, not like the bad shit, but just stupid, ridiculous shit. it really was kind of a blueprint for kind of the dumb shit that became the real life, kind of Donald Trump running for president. And it always kind of made me, before we got in the situation we are in now, it always made me laugh. Like, this guy's doing just the same stupid shit I did in Parma, and they're gonna vote elect him fucking president. What the fuck?
What was the band? So like when you were doing your whole like politician, like you used to sing from behind a podium sometimes, didn't you?
Yeah.
And
Yes,
then,
yeah.
but there was another band up here that was called like 𝙁𝙝 something and the Young Republicans or something. Didn't you have like a rivalry?
Not really. So yeah, we did the thing. I had, like my political shit was all tongue in cheek. It was just about putting me over. But I had the podium and that whole kind of thing. And then I remember I don't think the Nick Wolff band was even together at the time. Someone sent me like, "Hey, someone's doing your act," and I saw it. And first of all, I recognized two of the people. One of the people in the band, 𝗵𝗫, the bass player, had been come seeing my band since she was like 13. She's a friend of my band. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. So there, it's not ripping off. It's influence. I mean, there were some things that are similar, but I sent them an email, basically completely in character. Like, it's not serious. You could tell by reading it that it wasn't serious. Basically yelling at Davey for ripping me off, and he better get out of town and blah, 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 and all that shit. And Davey got it, but his girlfriend, who was in the tantrums, I think, with 𝗵𝗫 later on, and Pete, their drummer, and Pete knew of me too. So there was like an idea. They knew that I did it before, but it wasn't like they were doing their own kind of thing too. And the singer wasn't doing what I was doing. He was using the podium, but not to be a dick, but he wasn't quite as verbose as I am. And it wasn't like, I didn't feel, I thought it was funny. I love that 𝗵𝗫 was doing something. So it was all shtick. I didn't really have a problem with them. But his girlfriend, I think, and they're not even together. I think she still probably doesn't like me because she took offense to it, but of course you're going to, but he didn't. And like I said, 𝗵𝗫, still a good friend of mine, and I think 𝗵𝗫 probably.
Yeah.
And,
well, the funny thing is, like, 𝗵𝗫 was who I was going to ask to play bass before Bob kind of jumped in a message with me and was like, "Hey, I'd like to, try out for the ska band." I'm like, "Try out? Don't try out. Just come fucking play," because I already know Bob. Like I know his talent and shit. I don't think I had a good grasp on his talent, and I know you've told me not to not to let Bob know that I know he's talented, because because you gotta.
The last thing you want to do, you don't ever want to give him compliments. You don't want to make him. He will take that and he will drive it up your ass, man. He will become out of control, and he knows it. He can't help himself though. Really, this is how he is.
I think he just does that with you, man, because like he's been very humble throughout this whole experience. Well, maybe also because he does, this is like the ska thing's like a little bit newer to him. He's like
You
the
guys,
type
you
of
just
ska
be
we're
polite.
doing.
Trust me, Sam. It's gonna happen soon.
Keep treating him like a fucking bass player. Don't give him no fucking shoulder padding, nothing.
Damn, well, Bob's singing. I'm gonna kind of I think I don't think I might be saying this, but like in the Nick Wolff band, Bob is a shit starter and a major shit talker. And like the Nick Wolff band was a very negative environment. We were all ball busters to the point where we actually sent, I'm not gonna get too much in this, we don't want to remember members to therapy because of how much ball. And Bob was the one that started it usually, because Bob would try to bust balls, but then like we go after him, but Bob always has the one person he's going to throw under the bus. Whoever the wink link he thinks he is, he will throw that person under the bus. And but he tells me, he's like, dude, he's like, I gotta like not be like that. He's like, it's so weird being with like new band when you gotta be like people you like not assholes that you know forever that you hate, like, and you gotta kind of swallow just because it's not like. It's just easy just to be an ass, even if you don't mean to. And Bob actually like works on that, like with you guys, to not be like a prick.
Well, I think also it's just like your personality and don't. I don't know how to say this, so like I'll clarify after, but like your personality invites that a little bit, and I think like you and I have like had like little misunderstandings before, I think, because like I'd be busting your balls and you would be you thought that I was being serious. Like I think there was one time where we were like talking online and stuff, and you're just like, dude, why are we even friends on here if all you're gonna do is fucking bust my? I'm like, dude, no. I'm sorry. Like I
I don't
felt
even remember
horrible.
that. See, I'm
Yeah.
pretty open. I don't know. You're not that like you're not the most brutal like ball buster in the
I
fucking
think at
world.
one point I was being savage about something. Like
But I don't know you because you're not necessarily so like you're pretty serious. So if you are being like that, it can come off. It could be very dry, but maybe it could be misunderstood because I don't really expect that from you necessarily.
Well, I've told people like yeah, my sense of humor is very dry, but like when I would try to do like an insult comic kind of thing, I think where me and John grew up, that's just like par for the course. And I think when I moved to Cleveland, I've told people I had to like readjust because I started getting worried that I was either going to lose friends or I was going to get my ass kicked, because I would just bust people's balls, but I would
I don't
sound
think
serious.
I've seen you piss people off. I don't want to get. I've seen you piss somebody off that you were just rude and a dick, and fucking they were like being cool, and you like really came off real condescending to them, and they kind of even made it known to me. So I don't know. Like sometimes I think maybe you're just being a dick. Like I don't know if your humor is that good where you're trying to be funny, but we don't get it because I'm just being an asshole right now.
I was gonna say,
I don't
man,
know
I
that
think
you really
it's
got
like
the
the
humor
opposite.
thing down.
Well, no, that's really what it is. Is me and Sam have like different.
You got to be kind of funny if you're just ball busting. You're just being like insulting without being funny. It's not really ball busting, Sam.
But like to me, it was being funny. Like I thought I was being funny, and then like yeah, like I know exactly who you're talking about because it was like you said something to me later in private, and I'm just like, oh, dude, I was fucking joking. Like, oh my god, I didn't know that guy was gonna take it that way, and I think that was the moment actually. Like we're not gonna say his name, but
no,
yeah.
but we know.
Yeah, we know.
The difference
But,
between me and Sam is Sam cares later. Me, I just shrug it off the shoulder. People think
I'll
I'm a
say the
dick. They
name.
think I'm a
There's
dick,
award-winning. I'm sorry. I'm John. I'm sorry. I stepped on you there, buddy.
No, it's okay. I think that's the thing. Like Sam will like apologize or like feel bad that he said something to somebody. I'm just like, fuck him.
Yeah, right.
If they can't take a joke, fuck them, dude.
Right. I think that is Sam's kind of. Listen, Sam's lovable. It doesn't matter what he says. I think the guy. Yeah, but I'm sure Sam's pissed me off at times before. But dude, Sam's such a fucking likable, cool guy. That I mean, come on. When
Don't give him a big ego. It's gonna go to his head.
no, I actually felt bad.
It was Bill Squire award-winning Jeremy Shear. I will say that. I'll say it. He doesn't care. I know. He's a real comedian.
I actually was a dick to Bill Squire one night though. Like the only time I ever met him. Like the only time I ever met Bill Squire.
Of a dick. I don't know if it's ball busting with you. I think you're just an asshole.
Sometimes, but with Sheer, it was not that. I was actually trying to be funny, and then, or it was like part.
See, John, you're gonna have to deal with this, man. You're doing.
I know.
But the whole thing with Sheer was I think it was either that I was trying to be funny or I was just having diarrhea at the mouth and I wasn't trying to be offensive, but it was.
Yeah, listen, we all. You don't think? I mean, come on. I pissed off people without meaning to millions of fucking times.
Yeah,
and millions more meaning to. Most of the time, it is on purpose.
What's up, John?
I got a skedaddle.
Yeah, that's all right, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, Nick, it was great chatting with you, man.
Hey, John, thanks very much for having me on the show, man. Good talking to you, man. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, too. Next time I'm up in Cleveland, we all got to get together, okay?
Sounds great.
Okay, you guys have a good night, man. I'll talk to you later on.
You too, brother.
Okay, later on, man.
All right, bye.
Bye.
So this is the after hours part of the show, the extra innings. Which
this is...
This is like one-on-one.
This is like this is just a phase after dark or whatever. Or like what's that one they did for?
Give me some. Let's get back into my story here.
Yeah, what was that thing they did after The Walking Dead where they'd like talk to the
after the Talking Dead.
The Talking Dead. This is the Talking Dead for section. Yeah, so like I don't know, man. Like so you're doing Gemini Lounge. Okay, we covered Gemini Lounge, we covered Pride of Ohio, we covered Nick Wolff Band, we covered what the hell were they called? Davey what and the Young Republicans?
Yeah,
Davey Porter. Okay, and that was his actual name.
No, I think his real name is Brent.
That's not the same at all.
I don't even know what their deal was because they weren't particularly political. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. I know. Years later, Pete gave me a sticker, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was you in that band. You know?
Yeah, I mean Pete's been around forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was in a band with Pete, so like
Oh yeah,
he's
all
yeah,
right.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
I want
It's
to talk to you, man. Fucking Bar Trash. That band still baffles me. Like
why?
those four people, you and Teabagger, and then Travis, and then of all Randy fucking Brasco, like that you dug. I mean, listen, I mean Randy was still alive at that point. We
And
dug
then
Randy Brasco of all people. That's like an old school, like older dude from Parma that like I had known, like see up at the bar, or even like before that, like one of those dudes that was real far out there and shit like that. But I was kind of along with them. But it was so crazy that like, wow, Randy Brasco is in a band with Sam Sinister.
and then also Tom Tadson from Horror 59
Okay, so I
was
don't
in that.
remember. I didn't see you guys with him.
Okay, because he was the second guitar player, and then he also he has the studio in Akron
Oh,
where he records the
I'm just
bands
drawing a
live.
blank. Then I think I did. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's in Teabagger's band right now. He's the drummer.
Oh, all right, all right. The kind of hug of fails.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just weird. Like this, it's such an incestuous scene, you know? It's like,
And oh no, I mean, dude, you look at like I think every band in Cleveland. If you look at like Aaron Dowell and Chris Stora, you got like almost every band in Cleveland covered. Like there are so many people that like have been in a million bands, and even in their punk circle, like everyone's played with each other at some point.
well,
Like
one,
I'm linked to almost everybody with Aaron, just alone having played with Aaron.
yeah, well, one, but that brings up something that I did want to actually talk to you about because like the running joke for a long time, and I think that you actually started this running joke was that you that the Nick Wolff band was just like you were stealing all of Tony Erba's band members and just trying to get them into your band because like everybody else was either in like base value or something else that that Tony did. And I think it was actually just you that said that to me, you
Yeah, I'm
know.
sure. Well, that's the thing, like, because Aaron has been in millions of bands with Herba. He's in Face Value with them now. They were in Amps to 11, Stepsister, and Fuck You Pay Me,
Yeah.
just to name a few. And then Callahan, who was the drummer, who's been the drummer for the Nick Wolff band for like the last decade almost. He's been in a million bands, but he was in, you know, Fuck You Pay Me and Amps to 11 with Herba. So yeah, it was but those guys are good friends of mine. I can always kind of rely on them like if I need a drummer, Steve Callahan's gonna show up and do or a guitarist, like Steve Callahan's gonna be there for me. And so that's I've always just relied on friends, and we run in the same circles. Like the thing about Herba, like um I knew Herb as a bass player. I didn't watch any of his bands. I knew nothing about anything he did musically until we became friends and shit like that. And I knew him first as a bass player, so it wasn't really till later till I really knew about like Gordon Sully motherfuckers or Face Value or
Nine shots.
kind of nine shots. Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't know that side of Tony Urban. That was something I kind of learned a lot later because I really wasn't into hardcore or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it seems like this country doesn't want democracy or freedom anymore, and that's just fine by me. But, and you might be asking, Nick, why the weird garb? Well, I figured we're going to have a dictator in this country. We need a real dictator. Like I set out to be so many years ago. I tried to give us a path to the right direction, but I was scorned and tossed aside. And for 15 years, I roamed the outskirts of Strongsville, Ohio, just looking for that step back into Parma, back into my home, back into my base of power. So now it's time to hail the King of Evil.
Everything was like music, where you came from, like I respect it because it was a lot harder. You had to like work a lot more to get to places. And when the opportunities came up, we were spoiled. I mean, there were so many venues and so many bands, and bands would come through at that time. The Agora was always having really good shows. Yeah, I mean, we were really spoiled. Like it was a great time to be in punk rock and a great place to be because
Yeah.
it was just so easy. Because there's so, I mean, Lakewood's always, what it is now. But dude, I mean, Lakewood was fucking even more booming back then.
Yeah. Well, even like I think Cam's Corners had that Speak in Tongues, and I think that's about where that area was or whatever.
Speaking tongues, I thought they were on the east. I
I
can't
thought they
remember.
were
I've
on
been to speaking
Lorraine.
tongues.
Oh,
All right. Yeah, I don't. And I played the pit before, which was above below speaking tongues. I can't fucking remember. I only went to one speaking tongue show, and I thought everyone was so stuck up. I fucking hated it, and I vowed never to go there again. I always hated that super hardcore scene. I thought they were all just rich kids that acted fucking stuck up. I never really liked that whole scene at all.
yeah. I just I mean my experiences was that because I couldn't get out to shows in like Pittsburgh or whatever, like we would go to Youngstown, which always had like a decent scene, but for the most part I started bands so that like I could go to shows because I would just host the
Right, right.
shows, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean it would have been cool coming up in Cleveland, but yeah, it's just interesting because I've used the word spoiled before and people get mad at me, Just like, no,
No, but
I
it's
don't mean
true.
it in a bad way. I just mean you
No,
guys don't realize what you guys have sometimes.
right. No, it's a good thing because we do have so much. I mean, I think people underrated. Like, dude, anytime, like when Nick Wolff and we were on like MySpace friends and that whole era, like you look at Cleveland at that time for just punk rock alone. You had the 𝗃𝗁𝘁, you had Peabody's, Agora was still doing shit. You had the Now This Class opening up at that time, the Spitfire, and then like a couple other fly by night things. You still had things going on in Kent. You had the Mantis still going on, I think a little bit. You had the Bombshell and different things like that. Eurogyro. You had fucking Akron was these Annabelles. Like there was just so fucking much, and like especially when it came to plays in bands and stuff like that at that point. It was especially when you've been around long enough that you knew people by then. It's just like a lot of other areas and regions and cities, they don't have it like we do, and we got to take advantage of it.
Yeah. I mean,
And
we
we
had
don't
that,
a lot of times.
like we had the con redneck bars and biker bars and stuff in the wedding. And we're just like, yeah, our fans love to drink. And they're like, okay, cool. And
Right, right. But
um
like that, still, you're still having to like sell yourself to like this out, like a place is not built for you. Like we had places that were built for us. Like, what's your fucking excuse? Like, what's our excuse? Like,
yeah.
and that's why I respect it. Like someone like you that they come from a small town, but created something like you did, with your band and your scene, and things like that, and try to make something happen there, and then branch out, and like maybe there's a band out there that you're able to help get in with bands from Cleveland, and then boom, it's a great fucking thing.
Yeah.
And more people need to do that in small towns, and I think they do. I think there is a good
Yeah.
amount.
Well, I've like since moving here, I've tried to get people that I was in bands with to be like, hey, we should go play these small towns, because two of the things that influenced me as far as like we only have a minute left, but
Okay.
I don't know, we'll talk more. But I was just gonna say CBGB and the Sex Pistols, which I mean, fuck them now, but uh those were the influences. Like you play these shitty little clubs and you make your own scene.
100. That's always wherever I've been, I've tried to make a scene out of. I mean, Parma, Ohio is not a music place, and dude, I was part of from the revolution to the 𝗃𝗁𝘁, 10 years of bands being able to play in Parma, and that hasn't happened since. And I got to see that come, and that was, there were a lot of guys that paid the money for it, club owners and shit. But dude, like, I was always one that was just trying to bring other bands in there and build relationships, and being friends with 𝗵𝗂 and Aaron and stuff like that definitely fucking helped. But
Yeah.
I've always believed in that.